He is an adrenaline junkie, Scientologist, and Hollywood cash cow. He is associated with a shining Hollywood smile and became one of the 100 most important actors of all time.
At 63, Tom Cruise is still known as Hollywood's fearless action star. But behind the stunts, the smiles, and the global fame, something has quietly changed. This isn't the story fans usually hear. It's about loss, pressure, sacrifice, and the moments that shaped him away from the cameras. When you see what Tom Cruise has faced and where he stands today, it's hard not to feel something deep. So join us in this video as we reveal the details. Love, control, and the cost of belief. In Hollywood, Tom Cruise still stands as an untouchable icon, a man who seems immune to time. But behind the blinding spotlight exists a sealed world few ever see. A man who once believed he had found salvation, only to lose the very things that make someone human: freedom, intimacy, and unconditional love. Before Scientology fully consumed his life,
you know what? It's something that has helped me incredibly in my life.
Yeah.
And I've been a Scientologist for over 30 years,
Yeah.
and it's something that, as you know, without it, I wouldn't be where I am.
Yeah.
Tom entered his first marriage with Mimi Rogers, the woman who would unknowingly open the door to everything that followed. Mimi was 6 years older, intelligent, confident, and already respected in Hollywood. She had grown up inside the Church of Scientology and carried its beliefs naturally. When they met in 1985, Tom was fresh off Top Gun, a young star overwhelmed by fame, searching for grounding in a chaotic world. Mimi admired his sincerity. Tom leaned on her guidance. They married quietly in 1987, far from flashing cameras, as if trying to protect something fragile. During that time, Mimi introduced Tom to Scientology's spiritual ideas, auditing sessions, mental clarity, and promises of unlocking human potential. For Tom, this wasn't casual curiosity. It was magnetic. He believed Scientology had healed his lifelong struggle with dyslexia. For the first time, his pain felt manageable. His past felt ordered. It felt like salvation. But as Tom sank deeper into the organization, their marriage slowly shifted. Mimi remained independent and grounded. Tom, influenced by the church and its inner circle, grew stricter, more driven, more distant. His devotion bordered on obsession. The warmth between them faded, not from betrayal or anger, but from living in two entirely different realities. Mimi wanted freedom. Tom wanted control. By 1990, their marriage ended quietly. Years later, Mimi would speak only once about Tom, saying he needed a religion more than he needed a wife. For Tom, it was his first real heartbreak, unscripted, raw, and unresolved. Yet instead of stepping back, he plunged even deeper into Scientology, as if hoping it would explain the loss. From that ending, he entered the most brilliant and loneliest chapter of his life. Soon after, a new story began. On the set of Days of Thunder in 1990, Tom met Nicole Kidman. She was 23. He was 28. Amid roaring engines and racing adrenaline, they collided like twin stars pulled toward the same gravity. They married on Christmas Eve that year in a private, emotional ceremony. To Tom, Nicole symbolized perfection, proof that he could manage career, love, and belief all at once. To Nicole, it was a dream life where every door seemed open. Together, they became Hollywood royalty. They starred in Far and Away, and later Eyes Wide Shut, Stanley Kubrick's final film, a haunting reflection of their unraveling marriage. On the outside, they had everything: red carpet smiles, 2 adopted children, and a grand Beverly Hills home. But inside, Nicole began to feel their life wasn't truly theirs. Scientology loomed over everything. When she wanted closeness, Tom turned to meetings with David Miscavige. The church's presence in their home made her feel watched, exposed, and powerless. Eyes Wide Shut became more than a movie. During its grueling 400-day shoot, Kubrick pushed them to tap into real emotion, jealousy, distance, and distrust. When filming ended, Nicole admitted, "We left a piece of our marriage on that set." In 2001, Tom filed for divorce without warning. Nicole was devastated and soon discovered she had an ectopic pregnancy. The pain deepened when their adopted children chose to remain with Tom inside Scientology. Nicole withdrew, returning to Australia, isolated and heartbroken. Tom buried himself in work, smiling through interviews as if untouched. To the world, it was another celebrity split. But to those close, it was a clash between love and control. Nicole later reflected, "I truly loved him, but I don't know if he ever stepped out of his role." And perhaps that says everything about Tom Cruise, a man who can master every performance, yet may never fully leave the screen behind. But was that all? Or was there more heartbreak and damage ahead for Tom Cruise? Keep watching to find out. When love refused to kneel. After Nicole, Tom Cruise moved forward again, but this time, not toward love, but toward control. The heartbreak with Nicole Kidman seemed to close something inside him for good. It was as if love had become too dangerous, too unpredictable. Yet, fate wasn't finished with him. In 2001, on the set of Vanilla Sky, Tom met Penelope Cruz, the Spanish actress whose wild beauty and soulful eyes carried freedom, fire, and an energy untouched by systems or control. She had starred in Open Your Eyes, the original film Vanilla Sky was based on, and arrived with an unrestrained spirit that instantly drew him in. Penelope entered Tom's life while he was still bruised and guarded. She was natural, alive, emotionally open, believing in feeling rather than rules. Their connection grew quietly behind the scenes, surrounded by romantic scenes and shared solitude. Tom was captivated by her spontaneity, humor, and independence, qualities missing from his tightly structured world. Penelope, in turn, didn't see an untouchable icon. She saw a man searching for himself beneath the armor. For 3 years, they were one of Hollywood's most adored couples. Photographed together in Cannes, London, and Madrid, Tom even tried speaking Spanish just to make her laugh. But beneath the tenderness, a familiar shadow returned. Scientology once again stood between Tom and love. Penelope, a practicing Buddhist, believed in peace and inner freedom. She refused auditing sessions. She refused to let anyone govern her thoughts. Tom, deeply committed to the church, could not let go of what he believed had saved him. The more they loved, the clearer it became that passion could not heal a spiritual divide. Penelope slowly stepped back, choosing quiet distance over painful confrontation. She still cared for him deeply, but understood a hard truth. Loving Tom Cruise meant accepting an entire system orbiting around him, closed, disciplined, and ruled by belief and power. In 2004, they parted quietly. No scandals, no public grief, just a gentle goodbye that lingered. For Tom, it wasn't heartbreak, but realization. Every relationship demanded that the other person surrender their freedom. After Penelope, Tom withdrew even further, retreating deeper into Scientology and building higher walls around himself. To the world, he became even more fascinating, an unstoppable hero in films, yet unreachable in life. And just when it seemed he would remain alone inside the shell of superstardom, fate tested him once more with a romance no one saw coming. Katie Holmes. When Tom Cruise met Katie Holmes in 2005, Hollywood erupted. The girl from Ohio who once told 17 magazine, "My dream is to marry Tom Cruise," suddenly became his real-life partner. Their romance unfolded at lightning speed. Tom was filming War of the Worlds. Katie had just left Dawson's Creek. Within weeks, they were engaged. The world barely had time to catch up. Then came the moment that changed everything. Tom jumping on Oprah Winfrey's couch, shouting, "I'm in love!" The clip became iconic, thrilling, and unsettling all at once. Their wedding followed like a fairy tale, a $3 million ceremony in a 15th-century Italian castle, attended by Hollywood royalty.
It was called the Wedding of the Century, Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes. The lavish ceremony was held at this fairy tale castle in Italy in 2006.
To the public, they were untouchable. But beneath the glitter, cracks were already forming. Their daughter, Suri, was born in April 2006 under Scientology's silent birth ritual. Katie complied, but those close to her noticed she grew increasingly isolated. Her Catholic family grew alarmed. She was rarely seen alone, often accompanied by assistants linked to Scientology. In interviews, she repeated phrases like, "Tom is amazing," slowly and carefully. The media began to ask, was this love or control? Rumors spread that Katie was being monitored. Her smile faded. Tom's devotion only deepened. Then, in June 2012, while Tom was filming Oblivion in Iceland, Katie executed a quiet escape. She filed for divorce in New York, strategically chosen for its custody laws. Her father, a seasoned lawyer, had helped her plan for months. Phones were changed, security hired, ties to Scientology severed. Tom learned of the divorce through the press, days before his 50th birthday. The case ended in just 11 days. Katie was granted full custody of Suri. Tom agreed to pay $400,000 per year in child support, plus education and insurance.
This is going to be one of those celebrity divorces. I suspect that Tom Cruise is going to do everything he can to make this go away quietly and quickly, which means giving a lot of money to Katie Holmes.
Katie asked for nothing more. Only one thing mattered to her: keeping Scientology away from her daughter. How did Katie Holmes' divorce from Tom Cruise affect his relationship with his daughter? Let's find out. The silence between father and daughter. Since that day, Tom Cruise has been almost entirely absent from Suri's life. For more than 12 years after the divorce, Tom and his daughter have never been photographed together. Not once. A silence so long it has turned into a painful question. Do they even speak at all? After escaping a marriage shaped by control, Katie Holmes moved to New York with 6-year-old Suri, choosing distance, anonymity, and safety over fame. They settled into a modest apartment in Chelsea, close to parks, schools, and art studios Katie carefully selected. Their life became quiet and intentionally ordinary. No red carpets, no headlines, just a mother and daughter building something real. Neighbors often describe them as happy, in a simple, deeply human way, walking hand in hand, laughing, living without spectacle. Their divorce agreement included one extraordinary condition. Katie was forbidden from publicly dating anyone for 5 years after the split, a clause meant to protect Tom's image and shield Scientology from embarrassment. That's why her relationship with actor Jamie Foxx between 2013 and 2019 remained completely hidden. For 6 years, they met in private, never appearing together, never confirming anything. Only after their breakup did the world discover they had ever been in love. But by then, Katie no longer cared. Fame was no longer the center of her life. Suri was. Katie reinvented herself, shifting from television stardom to independent filmmaking. She directed intimate projects like Alone Together and Rare Objects, small films rooted in emotion and healing. In a quiet, touching detail, Suri lent her voice to the soundtrack, symbolizing the unbreakable bond between mother and daughter. Katie once said, "Suri is my heart. Having her near me on set gives me peace." No speeches, no drama, just a new definition of happiness, working, raising her child, and walking through life side by side, away from the spotlight. On April 18, 2024, Suri turned 18. The milestone marked the end of Tom Cruise's financial obligations. But instead of celebrating with headlines or parties, Suri made a quiet yet powerful choice. She changed her name. From that day forward, she became Suri Noel, taking her mother's middle name. It wasn't just paperwork. It was a declaration, stepping away from the Cruise legacy and into her own identity. Suri now studies art and design at Carnegie Mellon University in Pennsylvania, following the creative path Katie always encouraged. On move-in day, photographers captured Katie hugging her daughter tightly before returning to New York in tears. Since then, they reunite often, walking, shopping, and sharing coffee. Ordinary moments filled with the kind of love that gently heals what fame once fractured. Meanwhile, Tom Cruise continues his whirlwind life of blockbuster films, constantly traveling from one set to another. But in June 2024, when Suri graduated from high school, he wasn't there. Instead, he was photographed in London attending a Taylor Swift concert with celebrity friends. The image spread fast, igniting public outrage. A man who can fly fighter jets on screen, but couldn't show up for his daughter's graduation. A source close to the family told Hollywood Life that Tom still loves his daughter, but their bond has grown painfully distant. The largest barrier remains Scientology. Under church doctrine, Suri, no longer a member, is considered an outsider. And even if Tom wanted to reconnect, the system surrounding him makes it nearly impossible. And so, amid the noise of fame and fortune, the story of Tom Cruise and Suri Noel remains a quiet tragedy. A man who can conquer the sky, command billions at the box office, and inspire millions, yet lose the most fragile bond of all, the love of his child. But before his heartbreaking and failed relationships, who was Tom Cruise? And how did he come to be known as a Hollywood icon? Stay tuned to find out. From a broken childhood to an unbreakable star. Long before Tom Cruise became one of the most powerful names in Hollywood, his life began far from glamour. He was born on July 3, 1962, in Syracuse, New York, to electrical engineer Thomas Cruise Mapother III and special education teacher Mary Lee Pfeiffer. His roots traced back to Louisville, Kentucky, with English, German, and Irish ancestry. He grew up alongside three sisters, Leigh Ann, Marion, and Cass, and later shared the screen with his cousin, actor William Mapother, in multiple films. Tom's childhood was marked not by privilege, but by instability and hardship. Raised in near poverty, he grew up in a strict Catholic household. Years later, he would describe his father in haunting terms, calling him a merchant of chaos, a bully, and a coward. His father was abusive, both physically and emotionally. Someone Tom said would make his children feel safe before suddenly lashing out. The lesson he carried from that pain was simple and lasting. Never trust false security. His father died of cancer in 1984, leaving behind a complicated legacy of fear, anger, and unresolved emotion. Because of constant family moves, Tom attended 15 schools in 14 years. Part of his childhood was spent in Canada, after his father accepted a job as a defense consultant with the Canadian Armed Forces. The family settled briefly in Ottawa, where Tom attended Robert Hopkins Public School. It was there, in 4th grade, that something unexpected happened. Under the guidance of drama teacher George Steinberg, Tom discovered acting. He participated in an improvised stage performance that left a strong impression. A drama organizer in the audience later recalled his movement and improvisation as unusually powerful, even at that young age. In 6th grade, Tom attended Henry Monroe Middle School, also in Ottawa.
It's 1968. My family was living in Ottawa, Canada. The movie was Stanley Kubrick's 2001: A Space Odyssey. I couldn't stop thinking about it. What is life? What is space? What is existence? I was 6 years old.
He attended St. Francis Seminary in Cincinnati on a Catholic scholarship and even dreamed of becoming a Franciscan priest. But after a year, he left the seminary, either due to another family relocation or, as a former classmate claimed, after getting caught breaking the rules. Back in high school, Tom tried to find belonging wherever he could. He played football as a varsity linebacker, but was cut from the team after being caught drinking before a game. What could have broken him instead redirected him. He turned fully toward the stage, starring in his school's production of Guys and Dolls. In 1980, he graduated from Glen Ridge High School in New Jersey. At just 18 years old, with the blessing of his mother and stepfather, he moved to New York City with nothing but ambition. Tom worked as a busboy while chasing auditions, then headed to Los Angeles to try his luck in television. He signed with CAA, and soon doors began to open. His film debut came in 1981 with a small role in Endless Love, followed by a breakout supporting role in Taps. Originally cast as a background actor, Tom impressed director Harold Becker so much that his role was expanded. It was the first sign that he had something rare. By 1983, he appeared in The Outsiders, sharing the screen with a future generation of stars. That same year, Risky Business and All the Right Moves turned him into a cultural force. His career accelerated rapidly, leading to Legend in 1985, and finally, Top Gun in 1986, the film that cemented his superstardom. What followed was a relentless rise. He starred opposite Paul Newman in The Color of Money, earning praise for their chemistry. Cocktail became a box office hit, even as critics pushed back. Then came Rain Man, which won Best Picture, and Born on the 4th of July, where Tom delivered a performance so raw and powerful that critics said the entire film lived through his face and voice. The role earned him a Golden Globe, an Academy Award nomination, and global respect as a serious actor. From that moment on, Tom Cruise was no longer just a movie star. He became a symbol of endurance, a boy who survived chaos, mistreatment, instability, and doubt, and turned pain into momentum. His rise was not built on comfort, but on survival. And perhaps that is why, even at 63, the world still watches him, not just for the stunts, but for the story of the broken child who never stopped running forward. What is Tom Cruise up to now? Let's find out. Still running forward. What Tom Cruise is doing now. At 63, Tom Cruise shows no signs of slowing down. While many of his peers have stepped back or faded quietly into legacy roles, Tom continues to move forward with the same intensity that defined his rise. But now, his choices feel different, more reflective, more daring, and perhaps more revealing of the man behind the legend. His next major project is a bold shift. Tom Cruise will star in Digger, directed by Alejandro González Iñárritu, scheduled for release on October 2nd, 2026. The film marks a significant moment in his career, placing him under the direction of one of cinema's most uncompromising storytellers. For Tom Cruise, Digger feels like more than just another role. It feels like a mirror, an exploration of power, responsibility, and the cost of believing you can outrun consequences forever. At an age when most stars slow down, Tom is choosing stories that ask harder questions. And perhaps, for the first time, he isn't just running forward, but looking inward. What are your thoughts about Tom Cruise and the heartbreaking yet eventful life he has had? Let us know in the comments section. Thanks for watching as we explored the remarkable and sometimes heartbreaking life of Tom Cruise. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss our next Hollywood story. While you're here, click the video on your screen to uncover more fascinating tales from the world of film and stardom.